You know those weeks where it just feels like everything's, well, conspiring against you?
Yeah.
Your phone dies right when you need directions. You're so lost in thought. You blow past your train stop.
In there.
I had a run of those recently. And honestly, for a second, the urge to just, unleash this primal scream felt really strong.
Ah, I get that.
But then, took a breath. And that's actually what we're diving into today. It's not about, physical power.
No, not lifting weights.
Exactly. It's something, well, arguably much more powerful. Mental strength.
Mm-hmm. That inner core.
Yeah, cultivating that inner stability that keeps you steady when life inevitably gets bumpy.
And it always does, right?
Always. So if you're tired of feeling knocked off balance by every little thing, if you want to navigate life with more calm, more focus.
That sort of quiet, potent inner power.
Yes, then you are absolutely in the right place.
Because in this deep dive, what we're doing is pulling out 8 key strategies. Powerful tools, really.
Tools, I like that.
Yeah, tools to help you forge a mindset that just radiates resilience. It's the kind of strength people pick up on,
Even if they can't quite name it, that steady energy.
Exactly. And look, we know many of you are also navigating the nuances of English.
Right.
So we've put together a free downloadable PDF. It's got comprehension questions, some grammar points linked to what we discuss, and all the core ideas.
Super helpful. The link's right there below. Definitely grab that.
Yeah, check it out. And we'll also break down some of the more interesting vocabulary towards the end.
Good idea. Clarify those tricky words and phrases.
In simple terms. Okay, so let's unpack this.
Let's do it. Where do we start?
Let's start with a really fundamental shift. It's how mentally strong people see the world. They just don't expect life to be easy.
Right, they're not waiting for smooth sailing.
Not at all. Instead, they sort of anticipate, they even prepare for setbacks. They see every challenge as, crucial training.
That's such a fascinating flip, isn't it? From that knee-jerk, why is this happening to me?
Yeah, that victim mindset.
To something more like, okay, hold on, what can I learn here? What's this teaching me?
Every obstacle, every frustrating moment, it becomes less of a dead end.
And more like a mental workout, a rep.
Precisely. A mental rep. Think about it. If your mental toughness is never actually tested.
How can it possibly get stronger?
Right. It's like trying to build biceps lifting, feathers. You need that resistance. You need the challenge to grow.
So life's challenges are the weights in our mental gym.
That's a great way to put it. Life is this constant force, and the difficulties it throws at us. Those are the weights.
Okay.
You wouldn't walk into a gym expecting to get stronger without effort, without feeling, the burn, the pressure.
Yeah, makes sense.
Every problem you solve, every difficulty you push through, it adds to that mental muscle. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
When you truly, deeply internalize this idea that discomfort isn't just something bad to be avoided.
But actually a signal.
Yes, a signal of potential growth. That changes everything. Instead of instinctively pulling back from hard moments,
You might actually lean in.
you start leaning in. You recognize, okay, this is hard, but there's an opportunity here.
And bringing this back to learning English, wow, that's so relevant.
Absolutely.
How many learners avoid speaking because they don't feel, perfectly fluent yet? They feel awkward?
All the time. The fear of making mistakes.
But it's in those moments, right? When you push yourself to speak, even when you're unsure, when you stumble over a word, maybe feel a bit silly.
That's the rep. Those are the mental reps that build fluency and confidence.
Growth really lives in those awkward pauses, those forgotten words.
It's not always comfortable, but that's where the strength gets built.
So, to anyone listening who's learning English, embrace that feeling, being slightly out of your depth. That's good.
See those tough conversations as your training ground, building those mental language muscles.
Okay, so struggles are inevitable. We get that. But it's not the struggle itself.
It's the response. It's always the response that matters. That's what truly shapes us.
So how do we choose that response when things get tough? When the pressure's on?
Well, think about fire. It's a powerful image, right?
Destructive, but also creative in a way.
Exactly. The same fire that can burn everything down can also forge steel, make it incredibly strong.
Okay, I see the analogy.
Struggles work like that. They can burn us out, leave us feeling defeated, or they can refine us, make us more resilient.
But the outcome depends on how we engage with that heat, that pressure.
Precisely. how we choose to face that fiery challenge.
It really makes me think of David Goggins. His story is just incredible.
Oh, absolutely. A powerhouse of mental fortitude.
Right. Here's a guy who talks openly about being overweight, depressed, stuck in a dead-end job.
And something clicked.
Yeah, he saw a documentary about Navy SEALs, and it just flipped a switch. He decided to completely overhaul his life.
Which is easier said than done, of course.
Oh, massively. And here's the craziest part. To even qualify for SEAL training, he had to lose over 100 pounds.
Get out of here. 100 pounds.
In 3 months.
Wow. That sounds borderline impossible.
Totally. For most people, it is. But he just went for it. Relentlessly. Waking up crazy early, pushing his body past its limits, day after day.
The pain must have been immense. Physical, mental.
Unimaginable. And did he want to quit? He talks about wanting to quit constantly. But he didn't. He understood, like, deep down.
That the struggle was the forge.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was forging this unbreakable mental strength. And now, he's one of the world's top endurance athletes.
His story just proves that so many limits we perceive, they're mental constructs.
They really are. Mostly in our heads.
And this ties right back into the English learning journey, too.
How so?
Every time you hesitate, every time you feel misunderstood, every time you mispronounce something,
Those aren't failures.
they're reps, as you said. Opportunities to push through resistance, build that inner strength.
So embrace the idea of failing forward.
Yes, your mistakes don't mean you're inadequate. They mean you're trying, you're in the arena, you're doing the work.
Keep speaking, even when it feels awkward.
Keep going. Now let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about what to build in.
Right, the positive stuff.
But building mental strength also involves actively cutting things out. Recognizing habits that silently drain our power.
Okay, what are we cutting?
Well, there are 3 really big ones. 3 habits that seriously erode mental power.
I'm ready. Lay them on me.
Okay. Number 1, complaining. Number 2, constantly chasing comfort. And number 3, making excuses.
Oof, okay. Complaining, chasing comfort, making excuses. I think we can all relate to those a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Let's break them down. Complaining. It feels good in the moment, right? Like venting.
I know, like you're getting it off your chest.
But what does it actually achieve? It keeps your focus locked on the problem, not the solution.
And it kind of drains your energy, doesn't it? Sucks the positivity out.
It absolutely does. It subtly reinforces this feeling of being powerless, like things are just happening to you.
Okay, what about chasing comfort? Isn't wanting comfort natural?
It's natural, yes, but constantly chasing it, avoiding any discomfort, that actively stops growth.
Like the gym analogy again, you don't build muscle relaxing on the couch.
Exactly. Growth happens right at the edge of your comfort zone, maybe just slightly outside it. Same goes for mental strength.
Got it. And then, excuses. The stories we tell ourselves.
Ah, yes. I don't have time. I'm just not good at this. I'll start tomorrow.
They sound so reasonable sometimes.
They do, but often they're just cleverly disguised limitations we place on ourselves. They mask a fear of trying, maybe a fear of failing.
So how do we flip that? Especially for, say, English learners.
Okay, take the common one. I'm just bad at English. It feels like a fact.
Yeah, a fixed state.
Now, try shifting it slightly. Just add one word. I'm still learning English.
Still, that changes everything.
Doesn't it? Still acknowledges where you are now, but it points towards ongoing progress, future potential. It's not a fixed state. It's a journey.
From deficiency to development. I like that.
Mentally strong people get this. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They create their own momentum.
So the takeaway is, notice these patterns. Complaining, comfort-seeking, excuse-making.
Pause when you catch yourself. And consciously choose to replace them. Replace them with action, with a step towards strength.
Which leads us nicely into the role of daily habits, right? Because strength isn't built overnight.
Absolutely. It's not about one single breakthrough moment. It's built brick by brick, day by day.
Through those small, maybe even boring, sometimes uncomfortable actions you repeat consistently.
It's the cumulative effect. That's where the real lasting resilience comes from.
So mental toughness isn't just a trait you have or don't have.
Not really. It's more like a system you build, a way of operating.
A system based on showing up.
Showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. Doing things that test your consistency, even slightly uncomfortable things. Because that discomfort, that's the growth zone.
Okay, give us some examples. What kind of uncomfortable daily habits build this?
Well, a classic one people talk about is cold showers.
Ugh. Okay. Wow.
Think about it. That initial shock, nobody likes it. But your brain screams, get out. Warmth. Comfort.
Right.
Choosing to stay under that cold spray for even 30 seconds. That's pure discipline. It's overriding impulse. It's mind over matter.
Okay, I can see that. It's a small act of defiance against comfort. What else?
Exercise. Simple, consistent movement. When you feel physically drained, your mental energy often follows.
Sure.
But pushing yourself to move, even gently, sends a message back to your brain. I can push through this. It builds resilience.
And meditation. People always mention meditation.
Yeah, and it's not just about being calm. I used to think that. But it's actually more like mental boot camp.
Boot camp. How?
You're training your focus. You're learning to observe your thoughts, your emotions, without getting swept away by them. You practice breathing before reacting.
Creating that pause we talked about earlier.
Exactly. Building that space between stimulus and response.
Okay, any micro tips? Something small for English learners.
Yeah, here's one. Record a short voice memo in English every day.
Just talking about anything.
Anything. Your day, your thoughts, what you had for lunch. Doesn't matter if it's messy or imperfect.
Why does that help?
It builds confidence and fluency outside of textbooks. It makes speaking feel more normal, less intimidating. It's a small, consistent action.
So discipline built through these habits, it's like mental armor.
That's a perfect way to put it. Mental armor.
Oh.
It protects you when things get chaotic.
Speaking of chaos, we all have those moments, right? When you just kind of lose it.
Oh, yeah. Emotions take over, someone says the wrong thing, plans fall apart.
And bam, you react. Anger, frustration, panic.
But here's the thing. Mentally strong people don't let those emotions drive the bus.
They don't get hijacked.
They try not to. They practice creating that pause, that tiny moment of separation. Breathe first, then respond.
That pause. It sounds simple, but it feels like magic sometimes.
It is the magic, that gap between stimulus and response. Someone criticizes you, life throws a curveball.
Yeah.
You feel that surge of anger or fear.
But instead of reacting instantly,
You pause, breathe. Maybe count to 3 silently. Just regain composure before you act or speak.
it's like managing waves, maybe.
That's a great analogy. Emotions are like waves. They rise, they crest, they eventually pass.
If you just react blindly, you get wiped out.
Exactly. But learning to observe them, to swim through them with awareness, that's power.
And for English learners, that feeling of nervousness before speaking.
That's a wave.
So what do you do?
Pause. Seriously, don't feel rushed. Take a deep breath, and then consciously slow down your speaking pace.
Oh, slow down.
2 reasons. 1, it helps your pronunciation, gives you time to articulate. 2, it gives your brain those extra milliseconds to process and find the right words.
So speaking slowly under pressure isn't weakness.
It's control. Emotional control and language control. It shows real presence of mind.
Okay, this is all really practical. Let's tackle something else people find tough. Failure.
The F word.
Yeah, but maybe we need to reframe it. What if failure isn't the enemy? What if it's actually a teacher?
That's exactly the shift. Failure shows up because there's something to learn, an adjustment needed, an area for improvement.
But we usually run from it, right? Or feel ashamed. Let it define us.
That's the common reaction. But mentally strong folks, they see it differently. They see failure as, well, as feedback. Essential data.
You called it growth wearing a slightly rude outfit earlier. I like that.
Huh. Yeah, it fits. It's gross. Just dressed up in disappointment. It doesn't feel good, but it's necessary for real progress.
Think about anyone successful.
They've failed way more times than most people have even tried. Guaranteed.
So if you failed recently at something, that's actually a good sign.
It means you're in the game. You're pushing boundaries. You're learning from experience. It's proof of effort.
Okay, so for English learners again.
Yeah.
You mispronounce something, use the wrong tense. What's the strong response?
Don't freeze up. Don't apologize profusely. Just maybe a quick smile, correct yourself if you can, and keep going.
Own the moment.
Own the moment. It shows confidence, and it reinforces the learning. Reframe those slip-ups. Okay, noted. That's the lesson for today.
Makes failure less scary, more like a tool.
Exactly. A tool to level up. And this whole mindset connects directly to how we handle life's unexpected twists and turns, those curveballs.
Right, because resilient people don't just fall apart when things go wrong.
They don't panic. They don't play the victim. What do?
They pause, assess, respond.
Respond with calm, even when there's chaos all around. They become that grounded presence, even when the ground itself feels shaky.
Like a mountain versus a leaf in a storm.
Perfect analogy. The leaf gets blown everywhere. The mountain stays rooted, unshakable. That's the goal.
And it's not about pretending everything's fine, right?
No, not at all.
Mm.
It's about acknowledging the difficulty, but choosing your response. That choice is the strength.
Can you give an example for English learners, an attitude shift?
Sure. Instead of getting stuck on, ugh, why can't I speak like a native yet?
Which is frustrating and unhelpful.
Totally. Shift the internal question to, okay, what's one small thing I can do today to speak a little better?
Focus on forward movement, not perfection.
Exactly. Value the effort, the small step.
Yeah.
That underlying belief of, okay, this is tough, but I'll figure it out, that fuels continuous growth no matter what life throws at you.
Okay, we've covered so much. Expectations, struggle, habits, emotions, failure, attitude. What's left? Is there a final piece?
There is,
Yeah.
and it's arguably the most fundamental, the real, glue that holds all of this together.
The glue. Okay, I'm listening.
It's discipline. Discipline beats motivation. Every single time.
Discipline over motivation. Explain that. Motivation feels so important.
Motivation is great. It's the spark. It gets you started, fires you up. But it's fickle, right? It comes and goes.
Totally. Some days it's just not there.
Exactly. Discipline. Discipline is the firewood. It's what keeps the flame burning steadily, even when you're tired, uninspired, just not feeling it.
So discipline is what makes you act even when you don't feel like acting.
Precisely. There will be days you absolutely do not want to study English or go for that run or tackle that difficult task.
We all have those days.
Discipline is that quiet inner voice that says, do it anyway. And listening to that voice, acting despite the lack of feeling, that's where the real shifts happen.
And it's not about huge, heroic efforts every time.
Not at all. The power is in the small, consistent daily actions. A fixed 10-minute English routine is way better than a random 3-hour cram session once a month.
One focused work session a day, maybe.
Much more effective long-term. Discipline compounds. It builds habits. Those habits shape your future.
So the message is, don't wait for motivation to strike.
Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start now. Start messy. Start small. Just start.
And then keep going.
Keep going. Cultivate that discipline, and you stop needing to chase motivation. You become consistent. And consistency, well, that makes you unstoppable.
Wow. Okay, so just to quickly wrap up then, we've really unpacked building mental strength today, shifting mindset about challenges.
Managing struggles, cutting out those negative habits like complaining and excuses.
Yielding those daily disciplines, controlling emotional reactions.
Reframing failure as feedback, keeping a positive, proactive attitude.
And finally, understanding that discipline is the key, more so than motivation.
That covers the core ideas. And remember, that free PDF with exercises and key points is there for you.
Yep, link in the description, check it out. And hey, if this deep dive resonated with you,
Share it with someone who might benefit from building a bit more mental resilience.
absolutely, keep showing up, stay consistent, keep leaping forward.
And maybe leave you with a question to ponder. What's one small discomfort you could intentionally lean into today? Something that might lead to unexpected growth.
Or maybe reflect on a recent failure. What feedback is hidden in there for you?
And for the English learners, what's one tiny daily habit you could start right now? Think about it.
Great questions. Until next time.
Looking forward to it.